Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface with Emergency Az number 22. Emergency Az videos, raw, reactionary type of videos to breaking news within gaming that tend to be a little bit Blizzard-centric, because let's face it, Blizz do seem to be the kings and queens of dumb fuck-uppery when it comes to the world of Warcraft nowadays. And because this is an Emergency Az video, it's, well, already contained fruity language, i.e. language of an adult nature. That's swearing to the layperson, folks. So if you are offended by such things, eek, probably already ruined your day. No harm, no foul. This is the best time to leave. I'll see you in the next video, but do flick a like on the way out. So, unless you've had your head buried under the stand for the last couple of hours, or if you can't see what's on the screen at the moment, or you clicked the link to this video without reading what the title was because you noticed that it was from me, and if you did that last bit, no, that's so cute, thank you, then obviously the topic for today's video is going to be about the official announcement of the release date for Legion. Yes, we have an official date. And before I go into it and the ramifications of it, we need to have a little bit of metaphorical foreplay, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies. And I reckon there's some people out there who are taking bets on the time code in the vid that I absolutely lose my shit. And I understand that. I am an emotional beast. I call a spade, and I just go balls deep. I don't try and skirt around the issue. I don't try and use touchy-feely language in an attempt not to upset anyone. And I don't kind of go down the political correctness route either. I never created my channel to garnish favour with game developers in an effort to further myself. Not at all. And I never created my YouTube channel to do the same with other YouTubers. If people are rubbed up the wrong way, if people don't like my stuff, I will absolutely guarantee you no fucks whatsoever are given at this side of the microphone at all. I have always been from the perspective of a gamer talking to gamers, as if I had invited you into my front room and we were sat down having coffee, and this is how we would actually chat about stuff. I am never posing as a critique. That's not my style. I talk about stuff, but always from the perspective of a gamer. And I'm never going to tell you how to play your class and say, hey, fucking scummy blood DK, this is how you play your fucking class, you scum. You watch my guide. You know, if people come to me and they say, Az, what is the best spec for a warlock to play? My answer is always going to be the spec that you have the most fun playing. Which talent should I take as? You take the talents that you enjoy the most, because that is always going to be the angle that I tackle things from. So yes, I understand that you may think there may be an emotional outburst coming in this video, but I'm telling you right now, it's not going to happen. I've had terrible trouble trying to make this video in the last couple of hours. I'll absolutely give you that. And it hasn't been because I've been losing my rag. If I had, I probably wouldn't have the voice that I've got now to do this. No, it's been because I've not been able to stop laughing in some instances. I really haven't. I've just been bursting into fits of uncontrollable laughter. Now, that might be the madness settling in, folks. I absolutely understand that. That could just be the madness descending. It's got on top of me at last. It's all gone wrong. But it's just, it's a kind of laughable date for a laughable situation, for a laughable expansion from a laughable company. You know, everything about this is just so farcical. You could literally turn this into a comedy. So, enough of the foreplay. It's time to go balls deep. What is the date? If you didn't already know, it is the 30th of August, 2037. No, it might as well be, let's face it. It's the 30th of August of this year. 22 days before their own self-imposed deadline of the 21st of September. Now, that's going to upset a lot of people. And I'm not trying to make light of the situation, folks. And I'm not trying to revel in anyone's misery or anything like that. Of course I understand. Look, you know, how many times have I made World of Warcraft videos about Warlords of Draenor, where I've just been so fed up and pissed off and angry and that kind of stuff. So much so that even I started to agree with my audience when people just saying, just, you know, we've had enough of this, you know. We've heard it all before. And I absolutely hear you. I absolutely heard you, you know. So I was just like, right, fine. No, you're absolutely right. No more. There's no more that I can say about this expansion that hasn't already been said. And so I purposely separated myself from those sort of videos and tried to do other stuff that would keep me upbeat, keep you happy, and keep us in the right frame of mind. And that was going all hunky-dory until I saw the fucking Garrison fucking mission shit on the alpha. Then things got a little bit fucking weird. But, you know, that's just the nature of the beast, you know? That is just the nature of the beast. So I'm not trying to make light of this situation, because this is going to upset a lot of people. It's 4.5 months away from now. And we are only a couple of months away from the year anniversary of 6.2. And if you recall the chats that I did about the 1 year anniversary of patch 5.4, that didn't end well for the cake. I tells you that for nothing. That didn't end well for the cake. But even Mists had 4 patches. And one of them was stellar. Patch 5.2 was stellar. 5.1, yeah. 5.3, yeah. 5.4, yeah, it's okay. It's alright. It's okay. You know, if the Timeless Isle hadn't had the terrible pacing, it would have been a lot better. So at least we had sort of that to fall back onto. But with this expansion, there is nowhere to run. There is nowhere to run, and there is nothing to run to in Warlords of Draenor. And that's sad for a lot of people. So yeah, the people have seen today's release date and been upset and downhearted. I absolutely feel for you. I do. I have all the sympathy in the world. I'm an old man, so, you know, 4.5 months for me goes a lot quicker than 4.5 months for a teenager. And that's just due to the fact that I've been on the planet for longer, and therefore time operates slightly different to me than it does for you. But it's a hell of a long way away. So it is going to be, Warlords of Draenor is going to be, it's going to have another unfortunate record, and that is going to be the record of the longest gap between the final patch and the release of the new expansion. And before people start going, no, but we had patch 6.2.1 and patch 6.2.2. Nah, fuck off. That's all just fucking rhetoric, man. Nothing came in those patches that was new. Nothing came in those patches that were new. All that was given was older content passed back to us to do again, because Blizzard couldn't be fucked to do anything new. So don't give me that shit. Patch 6.2 was the final patch, and that is that. End of. So what are the ramifications of this? Apart from the fact that there's going to be a lot of pissed off people out there, and this is no doubt going to have some sort of knock-on effect to the subscriber numbers, because 4.5 months is a long time, which means we're going to click into 2 quarters. The sub numbers already are in terrible, terrible trouble, and we don't even know what they are, but we can guarantee you they are probably around 4 million, if not below 4 million by now. I don't think with any doubt whatsoever. So by time we get to the point where the pre-patch comes out, where that starts to generate the interest in people returning, ready for the official release. You know, you get a little bit of an upturn, and then the release comes and you get a big spike of subscribers. What the fuck is the number going to be? I mean, I can't even speculate. I really can't even speculate what the number's going to be. Because Blizzard never, ever broke down the numbers for us anyway. They were always very sort of fudgy when it came to the figures. They never told us how many of those numbers were from the US, the EU, and from the Far East, where they have a completely different type of subscription and can literally pay pennies compared to what we do. And yet it still be classed as a subscription to the game. So yeah, whatever the sub number is going to be by then, it's in terrible trouble. So you have to look at where support's going to come from. So where is support for Legion going to come from? Well, the Warcraft movie, of course. Hey, the Warcraft movie is going to support the release of Legion. People are going to see the Warcraft movie. They're going to hopefully enjoy it. It's hopefully going to be a good film. And everyone's going to go back high on Warcraft. And they're going to be like, yay, Warcraft movie. Let's go play the new expansion. It's not out for another 2 months. And that's bad. Because let me just throw another little bit of info at you. Who gives a fuck about Batman v Superman right now? Not many people. When it came out, it was critically panned. I personally liked the film. I thought it was a great romp. Yes, I could see all the problems with it, but I was still entertained, and I still felt as if I got value for my money. But because it was so critically panned, the drop-off rate in people going to watch the film has been gignormous. Even though it did huge business at the start, the drop-off has been humongous. So even now, around 3 weeks after the launch of it, it's doing a fraction of the numbers that it was doing before. So, for argument's sake, let's say that Warcraft comes out to mediocre response. You know, it's a video game thing, it's not terrible, it's not great, and it just comes out to mediocre response. 2 months later, nobody's going to be talking about the Warcraft movie. I guarantee you that. That's just going to be the nature of the beast. Now, if it comes out and it's well received, you know, this is a good movie. This is a good, solid movie that you should go and see if you're a gamer. Definitely should go and see if you're a World of Warcraft fan. And you're going to enjoy this experience. Then, still, 2 months down the line, it's going to be very, very improbable that Warcraft is still in the public consciousness. You know, think of it this way. If you don't want to think about it in terms of movies, think of it in terms of video games. You buy The Witcher 3, big game. You buy Metal Gear Solid 5, big game. You buy The Division, big game. You know, but 2 months later, are you still playing them? No, but, well, there's a huge drop-off rate. It's normally just the hardcore that are playing them. So even if the Warcraft movie is well received, the likelihood is it's not going to be able to support the Legion expansion launch date because it's going to be out of the public consciousness. Now, we also know that Blizzard are looking to give away codes to play the World of Warcraft for free when they go see the film. And from what I can gather, they're going to be doing a level 100 trial. We're not talking level 1, we're talking a level 100 trial, where they can log in, create a level 100 character, and start to have a wee bit of a play with it for X amount of time. And then if they do like it, of course, when they upgrade to Legion, they can just go straight into the new expansion. So we're not talking about this free, go up to level 20 business. This looks like they want to push a top-level character onto people, and therefore they'll make a purchase of the latest expansion. Blizzard aren't too bothered about, you know, Wrath of the Lich King and Burning Crusade and Cataclysm purchases anymore. They're so, no. They need to have the Legion purchases. That's the one that they need. So it looks like this free trial is going to be level 100-y stuff. So, let's say that people go to the cinema, they get their code. If they can't redeem their code straight away, and they can only redeem it at a later date, then the likelihood is that's going to get rid of 90% of people to start off with. But if you can redeem it straight away, these people have got to be interested for 2 months. Now, this is where another problem comes in. Somebody who watches the film has been very impressed by the film. Duncan Jones done a great job. He's a great director, so I am looking forward to the film. I really do like Duncan Jones. And then they go home, they fire up the World of Warcraft, and they're just like, oh, I can't wait to play with people. And they go into a fucking empty world. A world where there's nobody. World of fucking empty craft. World of tumbleweed craft. You know what I'm saying? And they're just like, oh, this is why they gave us a free code, because nobody plays this game. So they're going to be up against that side of things as well. And that's not going to be a great first impression for somebody that might be interested in the game. Oh, I like the film. Let's load up the game. Oh, it's empty. Never mind. Let's just move on to something else. So it doesn't look like the codes can support the release of Legion, especially with this coming 2 months after the film, of course. So what is the main source of support for Legion now? What is the one thing? Because there is something, folks. And this ain't bullshit. There is legitimately something that can really support this franchise. So what is the main source of support that is left to bolster Legion? Do you know what that is? That's you and me. That is the fan base of the World of Warcraft. So Blizzard are coming out of an expansion where they've absolutely shown you how little they give a toss about you, how little they've supported their game, how they're quite happy to take more money off you, up the price of the expansion, up the price of subscriptions in a lot of countries, up the price of paid services, and giving you the least that you've ever had to do and the longest drought that you've ever had in the game. And now they're turning to you and they're going to say, please buy our expansion. That is an interesting one. They are having to come to the subscription base, the fan base, to come back and support the game. The game which they just fucked us over with. And that is laughable. That is really laughable. Because we get so much rhetoric from these people. We get so much bollocks from these people. You're going to have the best, you're going to have a great amount of content to do in 6.2. Lied Ian Hazakostas. Shipyard, they're a fun, fresh, new feel of something to do in patch 6.2. Lied Corey Stockton. We just get lie after lie after lie. There was a ton. Patch 6.1 was a big patch. Again, lied Corey Stockton. There's no new battlegrounds, but it's okay because having demon hunters in them will make them feel new again. Lied Tom Chilton. This is a company that has just come out with bullshit after bullshit after bullshit and physically fucked you over. And now you and I are their main source of support with a release date like this. So the question is the fan base going to respond? Is the fan base going to say, we will come out like we did for Warlords of Draenor and we will boost those numbers right back up again? Now, of course, Mists went down to an all-time low of, I think, 6.8 million and then released Warlords on 10 million. So 3.2 million people came back in the last queue from the pre-expansion patch through to the launch of Warlords of Draenor. 3.2 million people. Let's say that number of people turn out again in support for Legion. But we ain't talking about 6.8 million subscribers now. We're probably talking about 3.5 million. It could be as dour as 3 million by then. So we're probably looking at maybe a low of 6.2, maybe a high of 7.2. And then we're going to have an automatic drop-off because Blizzard themselves have entered into the fan base's consciousness that these drop-offs are expected and natural when they are far from it, of course. Some drop-off, absolutely, but the way that the drop-offs have happened has been due to the fact of poor content and sort of poor replayability in the game. So a lot of people will probably say, yeah, I will purchase Legion. I will come get my free 30 days, but I reckon that a lot of people will then say, now that's where I'm going to leave it for now. And we're going to see whether or not you support this expansion. Whether or not I will have a look at the contents of 7.1 and 7.2 before I decide to resubscribe. Because raiding and getting the top gear in the game means nothing anymore. Absolutely nothing. There's not that desire for it because gear has been so cheapened down to a base level. Nobody really gives a toss whether or not they're walking around in mythic tier gear or baleful gear from Tanaan Jungle. It's lost its mystique. It's gone. So nobody's going to be like, oh, well, I'm going to miss out on a tier of raiding. Catch-up mechanics are going to be so outrageous. You can step into any expansion at any one time, and you can be sufficiently geared up within a few days to do whatever you probably need to do within that expansion. So people are going to be quite happy to step away from the game and say, let's now see how you support the franchise. Let's now see how you support Legion. Now, we are still 4.5 months away from launch. There is still a lot to be done. We are still in alpha testing for Legion. My only concern about Legion so far, and I'm not talking about the Garrison Command Table shit. I'm not talking about that nonsense. My only kind of concern about Legion so far is aesthetically, it's gorgeous. It's amazing. Art department never fail. So let's just rule that out the equation. There's nothing wowing me. And that's no pun intended, that's legitimate. There's nothing wowing me about the expansion. I mean, with patch 6.2, there were certain wow factors of patch 6.2. The primary one for me, well, two actually. There was a primary and a secondary. The primary one for me being the Canrathad and the Greenfire questline, and the secondary being the, what we could all do, the Troves of the Thunder King. They were kind of like, wow, kind of stuff. Oh my god. I've got this solo treasure trove to have loads of fun with. And you know, woo, traps and treasures and gear and money and reputations and whoa, this is amazing, and I've only got limited time and I can either just try and loot what I can or I can try and get to the end and and achievements and And so you had all that kind of stuff, and that was really kind of cool. There's nothing in Legion so far that is doing that to me. The gaining of the artifact weapons, pretty short, you know, a little bit of narrative. And narrative is always appreciated. And I'm not knocking on narrative here. But it's not like a, wow, I got the fucking artifact weapon. No, it's not kind of anything like that. The development of the artifact weapon, there's no wow factor there. It's just gaining artifact items and points and putting them into your artifact and then selecting talent every so often. So that kind of stuff is like, you know, we've kind of done it before. We do it on a talent tree. We've done it on talent trees in the past. So there's no sort of wow factor there. Questing, leveling's been solid. I don't think it's quite as good as the Warlords of Draenor leveling, because that's one thing they actually got right in the expansion. I don't think it's quite had the story impact of that. Some stories, yes. Some stories, not so much. But as a whole entity, it's solid, but it's not like, oh my god, I can't wait to fucking level. And the adventure map, conceptually a good idea. In practice, there's definitely some issues which I'll discuss in tomorrow's video. But because it's alpha, of course, these are things which can be changed. I'm not saying this is how it's going to release. You know, these things can be, you know, feedbacks can be listened to and things can be tweaked. But there's nothing which is just like, oh, I can't fucking wait to do that. There's nothing of that at the moment. That's not to say it won't come, because we do have a long testing procedure in front of us. That's not to say it won't come, but it definitely needs to have that. And that is something which is lacking from this expansion so far. It needs to have, on the 7.0 release, it needs to have that thing that even the staunchest of critics will come out and go, ooh, that's a little beauty. That's going to make people go, draw, you know? And I just feel that it's missing from the game. So, all in all, I think Legion is oh, fucking hell. Blizzard put themselves up against the wall here. They really have. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for them to get, I think, the subscription numbers that they want. I could be proven completely wrong here. But people could come out in absolute force and it could go back up to 10 million. We never know. I just don't think so. I think Warlords proved to be the final straw for a lot of people, and I think the attitude that Blizzard showed towards their customer base, the contempt and the arrogance which they showed to their customer base, I think that's going to come back now and bite them when it comes to the resubscribing to Legion. And yeah, it's kind of feeling like a conclusion as opposed to an expansion. I'll give them that. So that's going to be interesting to see how the expansion starts to proceed throughout its life. So, the release date, 30th of August. 4.5 months away from now. A couple of months after the release of the movie. Wow. Comment section, you're probably already exploding, but I'd love to hear what you've got to say down below. Try and keep it normal, though, you know. Try and keep it normal. As normal as you can. Anyway, I'm one to talk, aren't I? But there we go. I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Those links are in the description down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.